Okay, everyone, welcome back to the Black Gentleman's Culture Premium Cigar and Spirits channel. And today I'm out front with the Atabey Benditos. This is a 7 1/4 by 58 stick. And let me tell you, it's going super smooth. They said this cigar is the answer to if you can't get a good premium Cuban cigar. So we're about to find out. Now, far as the wrapper goes, it's a Connecticut Ecuadorian wrapper. And far as the tobacco inside, it got multiple aged smooth tobacco. So far as what the tobacco is, I don't know. I looked it up and didn't get nothing. So other than that, let me tell you, I'm also enjoying this cigar with a bottle of Mount Gay Old, if I'm correct, Old Cask Select. This rum is no longer made. I purchased this rum in 2009, and yes, that's how long I've had it. So I'm gonna go ahead and see what's going on between these two, because you know what they say, if you want a good cigar and smoke and you want to make it Cuban, you need a good rum and a good Cuban cigar. Well, they say this is the next best thing to a Cuban cigar, and I got some good rum that I paired with it, and we're going to find out. Now, the cold draw, you're going to get sweet rum raisin and cedar. On the body, you're going to get a soapiness smell, and off of the foot, you definitely, and I do mean definitely, get cedar. That being said, I'm going to get through the first third, and I'm going to also let you know how it's going, pairing it with the Mount Gay rum. All right, folks, see you then. Okay, everyone, this is the first review, and so far I'm going to have to give these two a solid 8. The Mount Gay 1703 Old Cask Selection is pairing well with this. What it does, it brings out the honey that's in the cigar. Now, what I mean by it brings it out, it makes it where you could taste it on the palate. Now, that's kind of strange considering that you're used to getting that heavy flavor from a rum. Well, this one is actually complementing the cigar so far, and this is through the first third. Now, I don't know if it's going to have a change in flavors, but it could be expected because of the cigar. But if you're familiar with the Mount Gay 1703 lines of rum, they make a very good and consistent rum. And this Old Cask Selection, unfortunately, is no longer made by them. I forgot what the equivalent is, so I'm going to look it up in a little bit, and I'll let you know. But so far, like I said, these two are a solid 8 right now. All right, folks, I'll see you at the halfway point. Okay, everyone, we're done with that first third. And as you can see, it got that kiddie roller coaster going on. That giant hill. But other than that, the burn is actually pretty good. Now, as far as the flavor, it's very mild and subtle, but it remains consistently the same so far. You're going to get that cedar. You're going to get a light white pepper. You're going to get what they call is honey. But I believe I'm getting a honey because I paired this with a real good rum by Mount Gay 1703 Old Cask Strength. So it may be because of that. but it also has that very subtle sweetness coming off the burn itself. Meaning not when you're smoking it, but if you smell the smoke coming off of it, you definitely get honey. That being said, this is my very first Atabey cigar. This was recommended to me. I picked up 5 of them. And this one is going to be the one I smoked during the hot time. And in the winter, I'm going to probably come back out and review it and do it again. The main reason why, cigars smoke differently, definitely during the weather and the climate that you're in. So that being said, here's another look. As you can see, that burn is what I like to call a kitty coaster. Now, far as the draw, it's snug and firm, but it is completely open. Could I use it as a straw? No. But hey, I'll get back with you at the halfway point, because right now I'm getting 2 Cuban cigars that this cigar reminds me of, and I don't know if it's favoring the one or the other. But by the halfway point, I should pretty much know and should be sure. All right, folks, I'll see you then. Okay, folks, I'm back at the halfway point, and let me tell you, these two are a solid 9. This cigar is being magnified from the rum, and the rum itself is delivering excellent flavor. Now, I can't even lie. This isn't no cheap endeavor. I searched, initially, I bought my 1 box of bottled rum, it was $200. Then I just happened to be looking for a particular alcohol. I ran across this, and I was able to pick up the last bottle for $100. That being said, unfortunately, I went looking around to make sure I wasn't tripping, but the only place you could find this rum right now that I saw is Cask Selection, and they're selling the bottle for $400 because unfortunately Mount Gay no longer makes it. So these two could never be involved in that balling on a budget videos that I've done, because you consider if the bottle was still being produced, you're talking about $200 for the bottle, and the cigar could go between $40 to $50. So you're talking about $250 just to enjoy this experience. So no, I would not recommend this for everyone if you can't afford it. But if you can, this is something you definitely would like to try. Unfortunately, the rum isn't made no more, but Mount Gay do make a lot of high-end rums that you can pair with it. That being said, I'm going to go ahead, get to the final third, and I'll let you know if there's any more excitement or new details coming out of these two. All right. Okay, folks, we are at the halfway point, and as you can see, that kitty roller coaster burn is going on. There's no longer a giant hill, but there's a little bit of peaks and valleys. Now, how the cigar is smoking, there is no peaks and valleys. It is just a very solid and consistent cigar. They say this cigar is medium body. Let me tell you why. They're saying it's medium body because of the complexity of all the flavors that's coming off of it. Now, truthfully, could you get this to a newbie and they'll enjoy it? Absolutely. But let's just keep it real. Who wants to give somebody a $40 to $50 cigar unless you can afford it? I can't. So unfortunately, I'm going to be snobbish and cheap and keep it to myself. But like I said, if you do get into cigars, yeah, this is definitely a must try. Now, I went through my brain racking it, and truthfully, this reminds me somewhere in between the Partagas Series 4 and the Romeo Juliet Bellicoso. The flavor literally has strong hints of both. Like, I'm not, like how you get that soft sweet bread off of the Bellicoso, you definitely get that off of this, but you also get that mild, rich spiciness from the Partagas Series 4 off of this cigar. It's like they combined the two to make this. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead, work down to the final third. I'm going to remove this band. I tried to remove it, but unfortunately it stuck to the cigar. So that being said, I think the flavors are really going to open up and explode when I remove this band, because the band is extremely snug. So it definitely is messing with the draw on the cigar. All right, folks, well, I will see you at that final third. Okay, everyone, I'm down to the final third, and I had to put some thought into it, and I figured it out. You definitely can enjoy this, but guess what? This would definitely need to be a special occasion. And fellas, I got a real good way for you to celebrate this. If you're getting married, pick up a bunch of these cigars, pick up this rum, and post-marriage, you know how everybody's sitting back, enjoying themselves at the reception? This is that time. You'll have this, a great smoke, a great little drink, and your wife won't kill you. Why? Because you're celebrating her in this special day. But I'm telling you, I see why they said this cigar is the next best thing to a Cuban. And I would agree, because honestly, the aromatics coming off of this cigar is excellent. The aromatics from the rum is excellent. It's just a solid 9. And I'm telling you, this will never make ballin' on a budget, because like I said, this could run you anywhere from $250 and beyond. And definitely if you try to find this rum itself, the cheapest I found it, because I went back and looked, I saw a bottle for $300. So $300 and up, and you could really enjoy this. But I would definitely make sure this is a special occasion, because unless you're just a hardcore cigar junkie like myself, this isn't for just the splurge and buy, because I'm not going to lie, your wife or your significant other is not going to be too thrilled with you. But that being said, this is a solid 9. I would highly recommend it. And since the cigar is so flavorful and light, you can also enjoy this with a couple of drinks. I'll put in the description, because it'll be too many to really name and go off about. So that being said, overall, I'm giving these two a 9, and I'll see y'all on the next pairing. Okay, everyone, we're down to that final third, and as you can see, the burn is still on that kiddie roller coaster, but it's almost to the point where you could call this razor sharp. Now, even though the burn is sharp, you can see that there are a couple little peaks and valleys in it. Now, as far as the flavor profile, this cigar alone, from how it smokes, I would give it a 9. Why? The flavor never changed. From the first third till now, you get the same flavor. The only reason why it's getting stronger is because, as you can see, I'm down to that final third. So, you know, the closer you get to the cherry, the more intense the flavor and the heat picks up. But that being said, the aromatics, let me tell you folks, you definitely get that nice sweet honey smell coming off of it. Now the smoke, I meant to mention it, but being a fanboy and nerd and out smoking it, I forgot to mention creamy. It is so smooth and creamy That's where, like I said, I think I'm getting that sweet bread taste from. It's just a nice, perfect, smooth cigar. The aged tobacco delivers wonderfully, and truthfully, I see why people say if you can't get a Cuban, get this. Because it definitely does the one thing that a lot of Cuban cigars do. They're a little bit, most Cuban cigars tend to stay on the medium side, and they have a very strong but mild flavor profile. So that being said, this is definitely something that I would highly recommend, but it is not budget friendly at all. A stick could go in between $40 to $50. So no, this isn't something you're going to just buy, because right now I can tell you, if I spent $1,500 on a box of cigars, my wife would give me $1,500 worth of knots on my head. Especially since I ordered a custom smoker that I'll have for next summer. So yeah, I'm not pressing the limits of my mortality. But for some of you who can, I would definitely recommend you grab a box and enjoy. You will not be disappointed. Now, as far as all the other flavors, like I said, the spiciness, the white pepper, the cedar, everything has been rocking the same, but gradually getting stronger since the beginning of the cigar. So again, the cigar I would give a 9, and the rum I paired with this I would definitely give a 9, which gives them both a 9 total. That being said, I'm going to say what I always say. If you got a bunch of cigars, enjoy them. If you got more than a bunch of cigars, make some cigar heads. And unfortunately, I can't afford to make cigar heads giving away Atabey cigars. But, hey, to my friends who could afford them, I will definitely let them know, pick them up, smoke them, we get together and enjoy them. That being said, folks, I'll see you on the next cigar.